Doesn't.
1 second, guys.
I can see Victor has the AirPods, but I'm on the old school Parawinging headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it too, but it was difficult. I mean, like the plug for the phone is different to that from my earphones.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Nice
As
intro.
a little intro. This is the first ever foil talk on Wingfoil Daily. Our topic today is the rise of Parawinging. Quickly from my side, I'm Toby from Wingfoil Daily, and we also have Joshua from Cape Town. He will be moderating the show a little bit and keep us on the topic. And the guests today are, as we saw now in the intro, we have Balz here, we have from Switzerland and Michi from Switzerland, and we have Victor joining from France, and unfortunately Daniel, aka FoilRat, he just messaged us before the show. He is sick, so he said he can't join.
Probably he's Parawinging.
The forecast look good for today.
Yes.
So I would say let's get into this exciting topic. So my first question would be to all of you. Do you remember your first Parawing session? And what were your thoughts after you tried Parawing the first time?
Should I start?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I guess you got to call this WINGFOILDAILY because it's going off. No, but I definitely have to tell the very beginning, the start of my Parawinging career wasn't the easiest, but it was already almost three seasons ago. I was trying with the NASA kite, so basically a handheld kite on bridles to foil on my downwind board, and that was quite successful one way, but then on the way back the whole thing got wet, and it's basically impossible to relaunch a wet NASA kite. But luckily things moved on quickly from that first flight, and I got hooked straight away, and I'm very happy that we have progressed a lot in the last years and months, and now we have a tool that's actually hell lots of fun.
And your next one, you used that high aspect, the high aspect trainer kite next after the NASA one, didn't you? Like shortly afterwards.
Yeah, we got that blue NASA kite. I still have it. I actually tried it the other day, and then I was mind-boggling how challenging it is to actually fly that kite. He just didn't want to go up. And then this super high aspect paragliding sample, which basically is a school project from the NC's Parawing designer from Patrick, and that one was freaking insane. I remember I used it in 30 knots together with you, Michael, and the whole thing was just like back. and I was literally scared. I was literally scared to lose fingers on that day because that thing was so nervous. But that was the beginning, and now I'm stoked that we're having some proper Parawings. We don't know how we're calling it yet.
Yeah.
Victor, where did you start?
Yeah, well, that was I think it was in April, April or March last year. Yeah, it was quite a long time ago. Actually, it was one guy at home that usually fly a lot to Hawaii, and who came back with a BRM. It was even like a prototype from BRM. It was not even any logos on it. And well, I've been downwinding a lot on the sub for quite a while already, since 2019, and I say, well, sometimes obviously the shuttle on going back and forth on the cars and stuff can be a little bit too much, especially in summer in France. So well, that would be really cool if I could like ride a smaller board, the same foil, well, small foil basically, and be able to carve, because where I live, it's really good for that. Balz knows, and Michael as well. And
you were
so
on
it's
the
really
water
cool.
today?
No, I wasn't actually. A lot of rain
But
at
I
home
checked.
lately.
It's crazy, but I checked the webcam and I saw, oh, you guys have wind.
Yeah, no, it was windy.
No, but you're spoiled. In Almanar,
Yeah.
you're spoiled. You guys have.
Yeah, for Parawinging and
real-
all the foil activities is definitely made for that. And it's our Cape Town bigger. I mean, it's kind of the same for them. But yeah, so I asked actually a friend, who a Swiss guy actually from the brand's called Elements, if he was keen to build a prototype just to try. And he's quite a good. He's got very good knowledge on breeding those kind of things. And he bred one. I mean, the kite. Well, the power wing felt quite good, but the bridle was completely wrong. But my knowledge on bridling wasn't good enough. Then he flew back at home and make the good bridle, and then went straight on, and could stay on the same line. Was a little bit struggling to get upwind, but somehow the next day I was just starting to downwind straight on. Then after learning how to go upwind quite quickly, and yeah, get hooked on it. Get hooked. Yeah, it was pretty nice, but kind of the same as Balz, I guess. I get hooked quite quickly.
Yeah, I find
you?
it's kind of interesting though. It's like I understand your case because you're by the ocean, but Balz and Rawham are in the lakes.
Yeah, but the
So
lakes.
Michi-
I mean, the lakes actually sometimes can provide the same as Hood River in the US. Those kind of places. Obviously, Hood River got way more wind, but the lake wave can be really nice for power winging. Why? It's just because it's such a short period. It's actually way better to power wing those waves than downwind because it's slow. So you can really carve all of them. There is no link where you need to just like pump so fast or use very fast foil. You can just snowboard pretty much the entire time, and the lake provide that. So it's actually really playful, I think.
No, I was just gonna say it's like definitely in Michi's videos, like crazy how fast and far they fly in like one stretch. Michi, where didn't you try parawinging first? What convinced you in the end?
Hey, I remember a friend of mine, Kelly. He had like a parachute, a little parachute, and he wanted to go downwinding with this parachute. And it looked weird because it's really like an old parachute, really a big bow, and you thought he want to jump somewhere down with that. But in the end, he wanted to try to go downwind, and there I tried the first time, and I thought, this thing just goes down, and it's not going to be the future. And already then I thought, hey, probably such kind of a training kite would be great to do that. And yeah, 1 month later, here I came with a Parawing, and then I saw, hey, we need that too. And then, as Paul said, we had this yellow Para wing from Patrick from his school project, and there I got my first attempt. And I was struggling too in the beginning, and I was exhausted from just untangling all these lines and bridles. I mean, they were super long compared to what we have now. And yeah, they were over the foils, over the board, and I was swimming a lot to get used with it. But in the end of the day, I managed to fly with the Parawing. I had fun in really light wind condition. It was around 50 to 20 knots. Around 4 square meters was that yellow Parawing. And then we got hooked about this feeling. And then Patrick thought, hey, now we're going to design together a real Parawing, which makes fun to go even upwind, to have better control. And yeah, since then,
and then you stitch through your finger on the sewing machine.
yes.
About it.
Then another one. So I decided to make my own Parawing. So I got all the lessons through building a Parawing with the bridles, and it took me around 2 weeks to build such a Parawing. But it was a really nice project, and to see all the detail, what is necessary for such a Parawing, and why does a Parawing can cost that much, was quite interesting then to see how much work does it needs to get a proper Parawing. Yeah.
Nice. We do have a question coming in. Michi, you were talking about light wind actually. So maybe the question is for you. So someone's asking, he can pump the wing with the wing in light wind on the foil, and asking if that's also possible with the Parawing on a small board in light wind.
Hey, it is possible, but compared to a wing, I think all of you guys can say we pump more with the leg. So you move more with the leg, and opposite wise you pump with the Parawing. And as less wind you have, as more you pump actually with the leg, and as more wind you have, you can use more the Parawing. And I think that's
so with an efficient shape and a good performing foil, you basically can flat water start with the Parawing in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true, but that's probably some people that have watched too many of your video, Balz. But but the reality of Parawinging, as the person who asked the question, all the guys around me that been involved on it, most of them are coming in either way from winging, or they got a decent background on downwinding. So I'm just saying that because a lot of people on wing, they kind of like cheating and they don't use their legs much. They're waiting for the gut, and obviously now the foil plus the board plus the sail is obviously way more efficient. So it requires less legs work, but Parawinging definitely require very good legs work. So I would say people that jumping into it, they must learn and watch a lot of video where guys are using their legs to pump and create speed, create like this kind of like rebound on the water, and just exactly momentum.
But and, also, Victor, how I don't know how you guys see it, but what I actually do now is I pull on the Parawing, but it's really hard because with the lines it's not that direct pull like on a wing, but I pull on the lines, and in the same moment I unlift from the board, so I kind of do ollies, but in the right momentum and motion with the wing. But yeah, I would not say you can grab a Parawing when he barely flies and then expect to get up in the air super easy.
That's the problem on the Parawinging, where they require like quite a good level of riding, well, a decent level of wing, because there is no, how you call it, like there is no feedback on the wing. Like a normal wing, you will generate power and you have something on your hand where you feel a little bit of power. Windsurf is the same, and kiting is even more. And there, when it's very light, it's very hard to generate anything, and it's hard to stay on the board. So personally, I don't really do it that way. Well, I'm using like a small board, so it requires quite a lot of wind on my wing, but I'm trying to read more the water and try to take off as the same as if I was downwinding on a paddle. So going down suddenly and use the momentum on like using a bump pretty much.
And that's quite interesting, Victor. I mean, we in Switzerland, we have a lot of flat water, and then you cannot use the bumps, and that's the reason why we probably can go also earlier up on the foil. I mean, I remember last weekend we were Parawinging, and there was literally 15 knots, and there were waves. But to get up was so hard, and I was imagine like when it was flat water, I would go easy up on the foil. But with the wave,
you were going into the wave all the time.
Yeah, it was like I was pulling into the wave, and you couldn't get going, and it was I was literally 20 minutes up on the water. It was 50 knots, I was all out with a 3 square meter.
Yeah,
And
there's no way you
yeah.
can start if you're going facing if the way is like if it's crossed like that and you're starting to go only this way.
Yeah.
It's I mean either way you full power and it will work. But if you're
Yeah.
a little bit finding the momentum where to go, it's very hard to find the
very
right.
Yeah, especially in the waves. I think it's even harder in light.
It's kind of technical, but I mean we're all getting there.
So I mean that kind of goes into like interesting kind of discussion about like discipline and gear choice, right? So it's compared to subfoiling. You know, you talk about you can possibly use smaller boards. So like what's the kind of idea at the moment? What board do you think you should be using for parawinging? Like people are saying like, hey, 20 liters above your weight and volume. Is this the case? Is it like, do you need to go as big as a downwind sub board? Like what boards are you using at the moment? Victor,
it was me.
Yeah, go Victor.
I saw you on a super small board.
Yeah, I'm maybe not the best example, but I've tried with the first time I did it was with a 6, one of my sub for downwind, so it was a 6.6 by like 85 liters, and that was my daily ride. So I went on that one, and that was quite good. But my goal was to go using a Parawing. I wanted to be as close as possible to that tow-in, downwind, jet ski kind of feeling. So having a smallest board possible without going too crazy. And so currently I'm using a 5.5 by 17 something and 50 liters, and it's too small. It's nice, but I've been stuck quite a few times. Balz saw me on my home spot swimming. And I've been stuck quite a few times, but I'm winging on a place where it's quite windy all the time, and I don't really go when it's under 20, 22 knots. I rather doing normal sub. So this board, but if I have to, and I'm 70 kilos, and if I have to do another board, I will go up to 60 liters, tiny longer, but a little bit wider. I think going too narrow doesn't give.
So would that be more than your body weight? How much do you weigh, Victor?
70 kilos. It's 20 under.
Okay, so it's a sinker for you.
Yeah, it's a sinker, but it's too much. I think the sweet spot, the fact that all the wing on the market doesn't matter which brand or whatever, the wing range is usually it's quite small, and we can say if you have pulley whatever, they all have got a small wing range. And
it's limited,
and sometimes when I start and I will I'm waiting for the gust or something, I have water up to my knee, and I don't think it's good. I think I will go up to 20s. I think having 20 inch wide and around 5'8" to 6'0" for a good level rider, and when you're 70 kilos and up to 60 liters, I would say -10 for the good guy. -10 for the good guy on a spot where you get wind, or +10 to 15 if it's a little bit lighter. This is usually quite a sweet spot, and there is no point to go too low, just by the wing range of the wind range of the wing. But what do you think, Mike and Balz?
Yeah, but also I got to say, like, these mid-length boards now, they feel so compact that you don't really want a smaller board. It doesn't bother me anymore, you know, like there's the sweet spot where you're standing. It's so nice. But hey, you brought up a really good point. So in the very beginning, I've learned with what I've got from downwinding, and that's a rather bigger downwind board. Although it got more length, it helps you to get going in the very first sessions. But then I quickly realized on the more compact shape, and what I'm lately riding is actually an 86 liter most of the time, and I'm 80 liters, so a little bit more than my body weight, so that I'm just floating on the water surface, but not really drifting too much with the chop or whatever. So I kind of like sit stable in the water. It's rather wide and also not too long, but the good thing about it is that you can actually create tension on the line on your parawing when you get on the board, and that's a point and that really helped me a lot when I stepped down from my longer downwind board to this mid-length board now, the Chive, that really gave me so much more stability on the water surface before getting up. And I think that's the way to go.
Yeah,
Okay.
if I can,
And
I can jump
Especially
on
for beginners. I mean, if you never had contact with Parawing and you want to start, probably, as you said, a downwind board, it's too long. And also the bridles, they get tangled over the board. And probably I recommend better to use a mid-length board, which has 20-30 liter more volume than your weight. I mean, as more as better. I mean, earlier you get up as more stable because mostly more volume has a wider board. And yeah, I think starting with plus 30 liter would help, and
But
you get a lot of balance.
I've also seen you water start a 27 liter board, Michi. So, but I'm more interested in which foil you choose for parawinging. To be honest, do you want to? Are you going for like a high aspect? You like what size? Like versus like let's actually compare it to a lake downwinder. Like you take quite a big foil on the sup. So like what foil are you taking with the parawing?
For my downwind journey, mostly I take the 840 area or the 990 when the waves in Switzerland are moderate, you know. And when they are smaller, I take the 1140. And it's not a high aspect foil. I mean, I have a mid aspect which has 7.5 aspect ratio, but I'm super happy because in the small waves, it's really fun to turn and you get enough glide for the small waves. I mean, the waves are not super fast, so you have enough glide.
But you're not using as small of a foil as you would with wing foiling. Like
I also use the 690 ones when it's big, but yeah, probably you need to work a bit more, especially when there is not a huge swell.
And Balz, you also have quite a few toys to choose from now: the stealth jet, the stealth jet, the Leviathan,
aspect ratio below 0.
The
what's your take? What foil? When it's like ideal parawinging, what foil are you choosing? What type of foil?
Well, ideal parawinging, that's like the trim conditions. I'm on my 90 span 1000 surface, but then like lately what I've been using a lot is that weird, not monofoil, but like stealth bomber from Subfoil. And the crazy thing about that foil, specifically that foil, is it got indeed what you need for parawinging. It got that low end, you get up super easy. I mean, this foil has 2,400 square cm and 4,000 square cubic volume, so it's huge. But then it feels very reactive, like my small 800 front wings. So it's crazy. That foil gets me going in nothing, and that's indeed the case in parawinging. And that's also the reason why I guess parawings for parawinging monofoils actually have a future. But we're not there yet, and I mean, right now it's a beta project. It's out there, but I believe we're gonna see crazy stuff coming in the future. But I'm having a lot of fun with that monofoil, and the more I use it, the more I get used to it. It looks very weird, and it felt very weird in the very beginning, but now, I mean, it has what it needs for parawinging. At the same time, I think you can compensate, as we said before, with a good efficient board. Lately, you can get up with quite a small, decent front wing, and I prefer also the rather mid aspect than too crazy high aspect, but just to be also comfortable carving upwind, doing maneuvers and all this and that. But yeah, I believe my dream setup at the moment is the 1,000 square cm front wing, mid aspect, and with that one I'm riding in most conditions, and especially also overpowered. I'm not going down way too much on the foil size. I rather just go down on a smaller parawing and be safe and sound with the foil lift. But I don't know, Victor. I've seen you on crazy stuff.
Well, not too crazy. If I can jump back, Josh, on a board, we're talking on a board. It's going to be very quick. I've seen a lot of people using those 8.2 or 8.0, those downwind specific shaped board. And I would like to point something, as Balz said, using a small board like a mid-length, doesn't matter the mid-length, if it's a 6.6, 6.4, 6.2, it's also help a lot on creating some opposition on the power wing. Because on a downwind board, it glides a lot, but you also feel nothing on a sail. And when you start, you sideways to the chops. And being stable on a downwind board, 8.0 by 18 or whatever, sideways on a chop, it's also very hard to find stability. So using a way like a little bit more wider board and shorter creates stability. And I think it's a way to go. Honestly, using a long board will help to generate and use that legs work. And for people that's struggling with the legs work, it will help. But in the future, and I think all the board is probably going to be like that. I won't say all the board, but most of the people will use those kind of boards. So that's for the board side. And in terms of foil, I'm using a 700 AFS Enduro with a custom tail, but it's my go-to foil for all the carving downwind. When it's sup or whatever, it's my go-to just when it's carving. And when it's all about racing or longer period swell and faster, I'm using with way more aspect ratio. That 700, it's on 11 aspect ratio. So it's just in between good glide and good carves.
That's the modern mid aspect 11.
Yeah, kind of.
It is.
The thing is, if I'm using that, I've got silk, for example, AFS silk, which is 8.5 aspect ratio, and it definitely works. But the fact that it got a little bit less glide, and where I live, even if it's not ocean, the swell, the wind swell, is quite fast. And it's hard to catch and to follow, and sometimes it's quite big. So I think those foils that kind of does everything, it's quite a good combination for me. And also when I say to my friend from Elements to build those power wing, for me it was no way I will use a bigger foil than if I was winging or downwinding. It's no way I want to use a 900 on 1,000.
What one foil policy?
Yeah, and no, I'm not the best for that. I have foil for everything, but I didn't want to create more drag or create slower things. I just want to keep what I'm riding basically behind me.
There comes the question: what's the slowest pace you can possibly foil? Because I think I was knocking on that record last weekend. I was on 12 kilometers per hour, and the leg swell, it's steady and slow. But I was standing still. I didn't even have to pump.
I saw you
make
at
a tea and coffee.
You were going reverse.
So we have a question in from Foiling's Not a Crime.
Foiling is a crime.
Foiling, well, it depends which lake you are in Germany,
foiling.
I think. So Michi, you've been in you've made your own Parawing, so I think let's start with you. He was asking, do you think Parawings will see the same performance increases like we saw initially with winging and like with kiting in the early days? Where we made huge strides in performance and like it's easier to get up on the equipment. So like what do you think 4 years time from now, do you think the Parawinging gear is going to be exponentially better than it is today?
In Alula.
Yes, I mean,
Dyneema.
we're just in the beginning of this sport, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot of more performance, more deep power, more control, less bridles, wireless bridles. I don't know. I mean, in every sport there is progression, and you see the development with the new Instagram stuff. You can see always the progression, and every brand is developing further. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna have better Parawings in the future. It needs a bit time. I mean, we need to see which direction we're gonna go, especially which is the main discipline. We're gonna have probably one are more focused on downwinding, and one there are more free riding, which want to go upwind and downwind, and third probably racing. And depending in which direction you want to go, and there's a developing for this kind of borrowing. And yes, I'm looking forward to see this progression. I think we are the limit in going up on a foil is almost there, I would say, because in shape we cannot work a lot anymore. I think we're never gonna reach this low end like a wing. So
I was just about to say, from what I understand, there's like working with the single skin canopy is like there's only so much you can get out of it, or so I've heard. So it's like, so Victor, do you think like are we going to stick to single skins? Do you think like if you see the double skin,
well,
you know, it's like what do you think Parawinging is going to look like in 4 years?
It's very hard to know. I mean, I was on a surf shop next to my place, talking actually with the guys that starting to receive some new gear, especially those new F1 plume, it's called, those in between, if you can say,
the K wings.
Yeah, it's a very good stuff. I saw some of them like 6 months ago already, some prototype, and I was like, I don't know. And it's actually quite a good thing, but let's get back to that later. On a double skin, it's always a trade. I think if we're gonna see some double skin, for sure there's a lot of chance we're gonna reach some very good upwind, more stability, all those kind of things. But at least in France, and from what I've seen in the south of France, a lot of people want to power wing to be able to kill the wing and try to follow bumps or whatever they can follow, and pump around and stuff like that. And double skin will reduce this stability because it's going to be full of air. And this is a little bit a trade. It's always a trade. If you're winging, I mean, kiting, there is always a trade. So in 4 years, I don't really know where it's going to go. Racing could be a good option. It will be quite fun to see. In the downwind side, I think people that reach a certain level on winging, they know how to jibe, to tack, to use wave. They don't have those perfect point breaks that you guys get in Cape Town, when you get like very good wave, when you can really proper surf the wing. You know, in Cape Town it's quite hard actually, but you can really do it well. Especially in my place, where I mean, winging is fun, but you don't have like a proper wave. And there, those guys that reach a certain level, they like, okay, well, I don't really know what to do, what else to do. And they can discover the more about the freedom of not having anything on their end, and try to serve the swell. So this is a side of the sport. I don't think it's going to be like, people getting to the sport will always going to need to go on the wing side first. I think it just gives you all the abilities to learn everything. Then after you can jump on power wing. It's still an advanced toy on the wing side, from my opinion. And so in 4 years, it's hard to know. I mean, the Swiss guys are probably going to come with something new again.
something stealth powering. So we got a question actually about like about disciplines, and I think Balz is the man for this, because he'll freestyle anything you give him. And hey, this is made for downwinding. Can you backflip it? So someone was asking actually about Parawing racing. Actually Thomas Goodrick. And he's like, do you think we will see Parawing racing like similar to the kite Formula One? And then someone's asking shortly after that, you know, do you think Parawing is going to cause more people to go back to kite surfing?
I mean, it would be cool if it gets people on the water. That's already a great thing. Personally, I have to say, it's the most aesthetic looking water sports discipline I know out there, because kiting, it's too far apart, the kite, the power source, and the kiter. And I'm a fan of kites. Somehow it attracts me. And this foil thing, it looks weird, but
just
like
add
it's
some
all
lines.
Yeah, just add some lines. But it looks good in a kind of way, because it's all in one picture, and it looks good. And Parawing racing looks freaking good, and it's not only attractive, but it's also freaking challenging, being on these short lines.
So technical.
It's very
So I was
technical, especially the maneuvers.
I was gonna say, right. So Balz, you're now the race director. You're writing the rules for Parawing Foil Racing
No
Tour.
rules.
How
No
long?
rules.
No rules. So you can have your bridle lines as long as you want. 30
No, I think
meter line Parawing, eh?
that's but that's the case. The kite racers, they're going down quite short on their lines, but still they got enough length to be very efficient. So I mean, it's a no-brainer. If you want to loop that thing, you got to have at least 8 or 7 meter or whatever. But the cool thing about having the power source so close to you, it's also at the same time freaking challenging in the maneuvers, but it brings the whole racing part even closer together, and it's going to be people together in these bridles or whatever. I mean, it's going to be interesting. And what we've learned from the first races we've done, when you go full speed, I think not many people have done a chipe going full speed, powered up on their Parawing into the chipe, because what will happen, the line tension collapses, and that's what happened on my very first race, on my very first chipe. I went full speed into the chipe, the whole thing collapsed. I got the Parawing with all the strings above my head in my face. I saw nothing. I was going blind around the buoy.
It was also offshore wind.
Offshore wind flat.
Yeah, very.
But that was the first chipe. And then I was like, oh, freaking hell, this is going to be challenging. But I mean, that's what makes this whole discipline so attractive.
So I was going to say, but I mean, it's an interesting thing. It's like maybe hear from Victor and Michi. Like, do you think there would be more Parawing disciplines? Do you think Parawinging's more difficult? So it's like, hey, free riding's quite easy on a wing foil. So it's like, hey, would you recommend someone's like, hey, do you see people free riding a Parawing at a flat water spot in the future? And like as we just spoke about racing or freestyle, it's like, do you see it going in that direction, or is it kind of just it's always going to stay true to downwinding and riding swell?
No, well, if I can start, Mike, if okay.
Yeah, sure.
And well, I will never close the door. I mean, we never know what's gonna be in, like, maybe it's gonna be the next Olympics, whatever. We don't know. But from what I've seen from many years ago, kiting was a sport. Winging came during COVID, a little bit before, and that was a new sport properly. Parawing is, from my opinion, it's a toy into the wing and the foil world. It's really fun. It's still an advanced sport, and I don't think it's easy to learn. I've seen people here learning how to Parawing, and they're struggling for sure. For sure, the gear's gonna involve, everything's gonna involve. It's probably gonna be easier, but it's still an advanced sport, and I think it's gonna be still reach people that want to downwind without having all the parameter driving all the things. So, and also how hard it is to learn how to sub downwind. But they're also a little bit over about their wings. They've done everything, as I said before, is they just want to feel the freedom of having nothing, which is where I actually point the F1 wing. It's way easier. You can feel a little bit more than with a little bit more freedom during your free fly and everything. And it's also way easier to just maneuver, turns, everything. So that was the point for this brand. But I'm not sure about the racing. For the freestyle, honestly, from what I've seen, personally doesn't attract me too much.
Come on, you've been a kite freestyler.
I've been on a kite for sure, but on a Parawing, I don't know. But maybe one day, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Those short lines, it's nothing. A lot of things gonna happen.
Don't worry, I'm not convinced either, Victor.
But hey, let's people have fun for sure. If they like it. On the racing, honestly, on the racing, as I've seen Balz, we had a great event in France, and Balz was amazing to watch on the racing. It was quite actually some really good guys on the racing.
Was this the Rocker Cup?
Yeah, exactly. And I've watched from the beach you guys Parawinging actually racing. It's technical. And the buoys and everything, it's so technical. You need to be so on point on your legs, on your everything, and need to be perfect. And it was really nice to watch. Beautiful. And so I think
And
it will
imagine
stay
now,
in-
Victor, with waves. That's my
Mhm.
ultimate goal. But as you mentioned, it's gonna be challenging.
Beach,
But going
Yeah.
upwind, beach start.
Parawinging, beach slamming.
No, but in
Crazy,
terms of
man.
customer, I see this sport for still a little bit of an advanced rider in winging that want to get more freedom, just experience something new. But every sport, I mean, I've seen in 15 knots here in France, people are still winging all the time because they can
Yeah.
stack, jibe, like do a lot of things, even jump, do more things with the wing. And when the wing gets stronger, power wing came, and it can be a fun thing. I don't know, Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, pretty sure. I mean, the attractive part of is also learning something new, and everybody who like are used with winging say, "Hey, let's try something new." I mean, in 1 week I have also a cleaning, and they are now winging, and I said, "Hey, let's try." Even they don't go downwinding, but they want to try something new, and that's something cool. We have a new kind of discipline, which makes people fun again or having fun again. Yeah.
And maybe Victor, just to also get into beginning of downwinding. I think the journey of downwinding is very challenging, reading the water surface and everything. And in that point, obviously, if you're facing or if you're already planning on heading into a downwinder, you most probably already done a foil session before. But I mean, getting up downwind, so straight downwind with the wing, with the para wing powered up, it's super easy. The only thing you got to learn is to get this whole thing together and then stuff it away. But for downwind beginners, I see parawinging still as a great option to get into this
super
new
great option
playground.
because the issue with downwind sup with a paddle is you don't spend a lot of when you learn. A lot of people doesn't spend much time in the air. They just struggle to paddle. So the paddling just offer you more time in the air and just basically more time to learn where to go. So this is an awesome toys for sure.
Yeah,
So
I mean that's also quite interesting. Sorry, so I mean, imagine you are a winger and you never had experience with downwinding, and gonna you say him, hey, try first downwinding with a wing before you start parawinging? That's a really important question. Should they start first downwinding with the wing, or just should they start downwinding now with the parawing? So,
well, it's basically downwinding. It's basically spending as much time in the air learning how to learn where to go, and doesn't matter if it's a wing or it's a power wing. Power wing will definitely point all the weakness you've got, because in a wing, I've seen a lot of people winging. They take the middle handle, just pump around, try to figure out where to go. But if there is nothing to get, they catch their wing again and it's done. But in a power wing, if you kill your wing and then you have to throw it again in the air, there's a lot of things that can happen. And if you have to do it every 10 meters, it's going to be a little bit of a nightmare. And so it's just show you straight on the weakness. So if I could say give a little tips to guys that want to go, it will be nice to just learn the basics on the wing first and be very fluent, like easy on the wing, be able to connect for 200 meters waves, and to carve a little bit. And then after jump on it, they will save more time and less frustration.
So better get used first with the wing, learning downwinding with the wing. Say, hey, now I want to reach this 200 meter just with my foil without the wing. And if you reach that, you can say, hey, now you're probably ready for parawinging.
It's just about saving time in terms of frustration, because we have to be, I mean, I'll be honest, and I'm not scared to say you can be really frustrating with this sport. It's super fun, but if your level doesn't line up with what you expect, it's going to be a little bit of an issue. When you kill the wing and you have to throw it again and you don't know where to go, and it's I mean, Balz, I guess you know, and no, for sure, well, you don't know because you're foiling very well. But if you imagine for guys that want to go, that is around these 50s, and you just want to get it to the downwind. I mean, the downwind is away with the wing, whatever, but just cruising down the line, I would say, or down the bumps, it could be of an issue if you don't have the basics, I would say.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, for me it was the same. I learned downwinding first with the wing, and then I started paddling, and then I got the feeling already from the wing downwinding afterwards for the downwind paddling, because I was a bad paddler, you know. I couldn't really good start, but once I was up, I could easily read the bumps because I learned it from winging, and that's the reason why the progression was so quick.
Just to hop in there, we actually had a question earlier about like, since kind of parawinging came along and you're talking about supping as well, do you still sup at all, sup foil anymore, or is that packed away and completely replaced with the parawing? Like, so do you still paddle? Flat water pups don't count.
Who? Well, on the Swiss legs, I'm not using the paddle much anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm
yeah, me neither.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Balz, go ahead.
No. It's just I love paddling, but with the Parawing, I can do more of the sailing aspect, and that's what I like. And my time on the water is limited as a young family father, so I want to do the most out of it. And now with these short turns up and downwind, I got a fulfilling feeling. I got all the sensations I'm looking for, but still I love a good sub downwinder.
Yeah, that for me, sub downwind is on top of the things. It's I think it's also a lot about, as Balz said, the time you've got and the place you live. And I'm lucky enough to say that where I live for the sub, it's quite amazing. So I really love these things, and I love the racing side of it, as well as the carving side. But I really love the racing side. And when I power wing, which is, I would say, if we got wind every day for 1 week, I will do half five. For, as I say at the beginning, and just over sometimes the driving, all those limited things. And when we downwind, for example, like for 50 minutes on the water, sometimes it's just so much driving and so much things that waiting for people. It's a reality of downwind sub. And I just want to spend more time. And as Balz said, I came from sailing sports, and I really enjoy having a sail again on my hand. It felt like a little bit of guiding sometimes. And obviously, if we've got guiding skills, that definitely helps on the power wing. But I really enjoy that side of being on the water for 2 hours, which is very rare on the downwind side, on downwind sub. So it's 2 hours, and you keep like doing up, down, and you feel like you're spending time on the water. And this is where like power wing for me, that definitely reduced my winging actually time on the water. That's for sure.
Well, I was gonna say,
Victor,
like,
do you have also trains to go up and downwind? No,
yeah,
you have ships.
No, we can. Yeah, we got train, but they don't really like wetsuit on train.
Okay.
They're gonna get funny looks. I think also it's a good time to like talk about safety. Are you guys using leashes on your parawing? How do you feel about that?
No.
We saw like we saw Patrice from Gong talking about like cuts on the hands and that kind of stuff. Like how you know, so yeah, let's first talk about leashes. You know, when do you guys use a leash? Do you use a leash?
No.
Or is it just not appropriate or relevant for parawinging?
Victor, you actually don't even have a board leash.
No.
I remember.
Parawing?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Well, also.
But you're downwinding with a leash.
Not always, but like it's
don't do that.
No, but like it's the same as your Cape Town run, and the water is much warmer and also very close to the shore, and with so many together, it's kind of
safe environment.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite safe where we downwind on the coastline, but when I go big downwind 50 kilometers, yeah, I've got like massive leash and strong double plug on the board and everything. But on a power wing, no, I never use wing. leash, sorry, on a board. Because as Balz said, it's quite a safe place, and there's a lot of people.
And it's
if
annoying.
I lost my board.
The
And
leash,
it's very
the
annoying.
leash.
No, but first of all, I don't. Back in winging, I wasn't even using leash on waves because I was one time I had the board with the waves that came back to me because I couldn't get away. The wing was pulling me one side, and the board one side, and I was so scared to get the board on me, which happened actually. I still have a scar on the back, and since then I say like, well, not so good. And on the power wing, when you crash, you don't really end up far away from the board. And if something happened, as Balz said, as we say at the beginning, I don't have wing leash, power wing leash, and if you release your wing, it just lay on the water, so you have time to swim. Worst case, and also there is shitload of windsurf and kiting around that can stop with your board. So if you're alone somewhere and lost in the middle of nowhere, for sure it makes sense. Cape Town, the water is very cold. If something happens, it's not very smart to have no leash. In Cape Town, I always have a leash. Nah, the shark's fine. But I always have a leash in Cape Town for downwinding for that reason, for example.
But I mean, even when the wind's strong, you trust the Parawing to land somewhere close by, Balz?
I released it in 40 knots, and it went to 50 meters downwind.
Personally, I have the same experience. There's the rumor that one Parawing flew over the lake, and I think it's only you, Michael, saw it. But I'm almost sure the Parawing won't fly far.
The local superstition.
It was 1st April. No,
it was the first day. It was an April Fool.
But it was really a true story.
April spotted in the sky.
I believe in 40 knots.
Story. And
in 40 knots, a light BRM can fly.
Yeah.
But again, back to the leash point. Your friend is the best leash because that leash won't tangle, and if you ride together, that's always a good case. But if you're learning a board leash, I can highly recommend a board leash. Not what we've done with the coiled leash. You almost drowned, Michi, in your first real Parawing session. Because if the coiled leash and the lines get tangled, it's a huge mess. But as well, you almost lost your board and your Parawing on that first day without the leash. So it
sounds like a great first Parawing session.
Yeah, that was epic. It was a good day. High expectations, and then you went out, you crashed the first try, board went far away.
Yeah. But
so if you're learning
against it, I mean, with the wing, it's always pull, and with the Parawing is in the water, and you cannot restart or relaunch the Parawing then. So
it's challenging it's challenging to relaunch a Parawing that's fully wet and soaked in the water. But I would like Victor, I would leave it and swim after the board. And then get back. I haven't really seen a Parawing sinking that quick. Obviously, it can happen in waves, but it's, I guess, and
there's such a small chances we think for one reason. There is no how you call it? It's like it's open. It's not closed thing, so the water doesn't stuck on it, and so I never had any issue with it.
Yeah. Again, in waves, it's another story. In waves, white water, I think your Parawing can get pulled under and it probably will be gone. But at the same time, Michael, when you had the bad experience with your fingers getting tangled around the rope and then still getting rid of it, your Parawing popped up a few meters further down, even though we thought it's gone. So we will see.
Yeah.
So just to kind of so with the 40 knots question, the lake's blasting, you don't still no leash on the Parawing.
Well, it happened to me one time on a 1.8, and my friend who is taking so many risks all the time, all the thing is trying. If there is something to do, he will do it, and he released it in the middle of nowhere. Well, it was in Brégançon, like that run Balz. Middle of nowhere, 8 kilometers on the first coast was 8 kilometers close, and the nearest one. And he released it, and it was 50 meters, and it was on a mid-length 7-foot board. It just paddled down there. Anyway, the Parawing not gonna go anywhere. So it's kind of okay to use no leash. I never seen anyone getting in trouble for that. For the board, as Balz say, when you learn, it makes sense. It could be a little bit annoying, but it could save you time on a. It's also, as I say, depends where you live, where you ride, how many people in the spots. so many parameters, water temperature, and how close you are from the shore. It's so many parameters. So yeah.
If I can recommend one thing, not offshore on the first day, because you will go
for
downwind.
Sure and
actually, the best is even going with a wing up, with a friend who wings upwind. So that's
but if you go offshore, which is the case where we got also a lot of offshore,
great for
wind.
learning.
Yeah, it's great for learning.
Flat water,
but always take a bag. Some brands, I don't know which brands, but I think Element's coming with maybe NC's, I don't know. But Ozone's got those bags when you can feel the wings and after slide it on your back, when you're downwinding and everything. Everybody must use
Swim
those
back.
things for one reason. If you have to swim back with a wing under your chest, it's a nightmare. Because the water always, it's open. The water gaze comes on the wing. Rider is going around, and you go so slow, and it's freaking stressing. So always use a bag so you can put it back and put it on your bag, and then after you're easy to paddle. So
you guys,
sense.
So you guys have probably seen Dmitry, the Russian guy in Mauritius. You've seen a lot of his content. So he comes down to Cape Town, and I think it's an interesting question about quiver size, because the wind range of the Parawing's smaller. He goes to do the downwinder, but he has 3 Parawings with him, 3 different brands, and you see him changing out there, packing one in the bag, taking out the other one. So I guess I guess the question is, like, compared to winging, like what's the quiver, like what sizes are you keeping? Are you keeping 2? Do you think you need, like,
in Switzerland we have the golden
quiver?
rule. In Switzerland we have the golden rule, 5 meter. And if you're only going down with the 5 meter, will always bring you up on the board. In 15 knots, challenging, but it will get you up. And in 50 knots, you get up with the 5 meter. Don't know how you're going to stow it, but you can sort of pack
but
it.
When it works.
So 5 and 3 meter for me is actually really good.
And Michi, your quiver?
More often go on the 5.
Yeah, probably 5 and 3 as well. Yeah.
Mm.
So not a 4 meter, Balz. I would have sworn you
The
would have
4
gone
meter
like
is the great
4 and a 2 or something.
What I've learned in very strong wind, between 2 and 3, it's not a huge difference, but it's anyway challenging in very strong winds to ride upwind or half wind. So talking about downwinding, the 5 meter is magic, and then up and downwind, the 3 meter works most of the time.
Yeah, I like. I'm riding 2.8 80% of the time, and a little bit 3.8 when it's a little bit lighter. Same board, same foil, and that's pretty much my quiver. I've got a 1.8 that I used one time, and it was not super fun. But 2.8, I think it's quite a sweet spot. It's like using a 3.5 wing, when it's just not too twitchy, and at the same time it's fun on waves. It's easy if you want to jump. It's fun. And I think small wing also goes quite good upwind, from my feeling, and it's easier to kill, obviously, for surfing and throw back in the air as well. It's much easier than the bigger one. So that the sweet spot for me, it's around 3 meters, 3.2. I think it's quite fun. So I think most of the people will enjoy it. But as I say, that 5 meters for me, it's. I mean, I don't see any time when I'm
That's
gonna
the
use
Swiss
it.
weapon.
Yeah, it's a Swiss
When we have
weapon.
10, 12
Gusty
knots.
light knots. Yeah.
Someone was asking about foot switching and in the surf with the Parawing. Are you guys riding both stances in the waves, or you just sticking surfer style and riding your natural stance?
Yeah, for me it's interesting. I mean, I wing regular, but I downwind mostly goofy. So I'm always have to think which side is now in the front. Regular goofy. Yes, it's super weird. I mean, it's like skateboarding. I'm skateboarding goofy, snowboarding regular. So sometimes I'm confused that it's actually my front foot.
Did you?
But yeah,
which
scissors,
nice which do you cut with?
Sorry.
I said, which scissors do you cut with? Left hand.
No, with the right, but yeah, I don't know left hand.
Okay.
I do nothing actually.
Victor,
Well,
are you at Defi this year?
I might come. I don't know if it's for winging or for the kite one.
Defi
Parawinging.
At Defi Parawing, yeah. No.
Well, I was gonna say,
are
we gonna see you and Balz duke it out on a race somewhere there?
Nah, the chance it happen is extremely slow. Extremely low.
Well, I'll be there.
I might come.
I'll be there. I bring my Parawings. Let's just see how we can sneak it in.
So you can do like the Russian guy. You can start with the wing and then just
deflate it on the start line.
Yeah.
Good idea.
So just to finish off, Balz, you were going to say something about riding Goofy in the swell, and then I think
there's
we need to wrap up here.
A less trained side and a more trained side, but in the end, I mean, everyone has his chocolate side. Personally, I sometimes even find it easier to start toe side, so switch stance, because you kind of have your shoulder open and you're like pulling more forward drive and pumping, facing the chop, seeing the chop coming. So sometimes it helps actually starting toe side. Yeah. But in the end, I mean, Victor, you probably always ride on your chocolate side, but we should
absolutely.
We should swap our feet.
I'm so bad on going regular. It's no way I stop regular. First of all, no way. And but going upwind and stuff, that's fine, because going upwind toe side, it's quite hard. Even if I do it all the time, I think Baz have seen me.
I saw you like fully twisted. It looks horrible, but I mean, it feels nice. It feels nice because it's natural with the Parawing. But
it's starting toe side. It's actually easier. Also, sometimes it's more about everyone has their own things. But coming from on the kiting side, and if you go on the surf side, my Goofy it's the best. And surfing on my wrong one, I'm unfortunately not kite any. But surfing on a foil on my wrong side, it's no way. And starting on a power wing, it's much harder than starting on a winging on the wrong side. So yeah, I mean, everybody has their own things, but starting toe side, it's completely manageable. So for everybody's at good level 4, it's not a big deal. And as
you don't switch your feet to rest.
To go upwind on the harness and stuff. Yeah, I can do it. Sometimes just lazy. I don't want to crash also sometimes on some situation. So rather being toe side and saving time. But yeah, if I have to do it, I just do it. Yeah.
Cool. Hey guys,
and then we bring up so many more questions. Yeah. We're creating questions.
If I can say something not on a conclusion, and but if I can say something, I think it's a super nice sport. All the people that are watching our live, I've seen Balz and Mike basically not creating the sport maybe, but just helping the sport to grow in Europe way before France. And thanks for them to come with always great ideas, those Swiss guys. And all the people must come to this sport. It's fun, but just learn the basics. I think with winging will save you time, and don't throw away the wing. I don't think it's the right idea, and just explore more. Just these toys will make you explore more, feel more about having a say closer to you. It's just fun, and I'm sure we're gonna see more people coming to this side as well. But yeah, don't throw away your wing. I don't think it's a great idea. And just stick to the wing to learn at least the basics, and will save you way more time, and come with us to enjoy it. And I'm sure the guy is going to say same thing, maybe.
Yeah. So we stick to WINGFOILDAILY, not ParaWINGFOILDAILY yet.
I don't know.
Maybe next year.
Monofoil daily.
Monofoil is the future. That's actually, I'm very excited seeing different brands approaching this project. Cool.
Really cool.
Thank you a lot.
Thanks for joining, guys.
Thank you, man.
Have a good evening, and see you
maybe
in the next one.
See you next time.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the chat, guys, and really looking forward to seeing you, the Swiss guys back home, and Josh maybe probably in Cape Town at some point, probably next winter, and maybe in France if you're coming to Defi. So,
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. Be there on
okay,
Sunday.
cool. But thanks,
Forecast
guys. Thanks
looking
a lot,
good.
and,
Thank you,
Talk
guys.
soon.
The chat, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.